Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for being here and joining us for Deborah Kobylt Live. We are reporting from Los Angeles, where honestly the firefighters have been working so hard to help everyone evacuate their homes, to save properties. So our hearts go out to everyone who are affected by the fire. So thank you very much for joining us. Right now on the phone, we have a friend of mine, Robin LaMonte. She is an interior designer, influencer for people over 40. And she is a CEO of the Women's Over 40 Conference that's taking place in Atlanta this year in March. In fact, I've been invited to join them. Robin, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you, Deborah, for having me. It's been
Yeah.
a great time meeting you a couple of weeks ago, and I look forward to our conversation today.
Yeah. Well, I think we became Instagram friends, which really is sort of a sign of the times, right?
It really is. I think our generation uses it to make connections. I don't know what the millennials are doing, but I know that my over 40 crowd, we're always saying, I'm going to be so-and-so here. I want to meet up with people, just like I did with you. So when you found me, you were actually looking at our Influencer of Midlife conference, and you were surprised that we actually exist.
Well, because, I feel I'm over 40, and I always feel the same as I did at 28. I won't say 18, but 28 to 34, I always feel that age all the time. And I thought, why is it that advertisers don't really look at us as an important demographic? Because we are. We're spending the money that we've made. We're traveling. We're buying clothes and upscale clothes or not. We're doing so much. And I thought, why not? And then all of a sudden I happened upon you, who's actually an influencer of midlife, and you're doing it quite successfully.
Well, I think it's because the companies and the brands that are all on Instagram, and pretty much for any woman who wants to do what I'm doing, you have to have a platform. And social media, the number one is Instagram. Even though Facebook is really our generation, we're kind of chasing the millennials away from Facebook. But Instagram is the place where companies and brands every day look for people to work with. And we're seeing a larger connection with companies that know we're their target audience. And they're saying, hey, I want to work with you. And that's how I started, is having companies that really target the over 40 crowd.
So what did you do? Were you wearing a piece of clothing and then you tagged that company, or how did they find you first?
Yes,
I
did. I as a designer, I tag the furniture, the paint colors, everything else, but I knew the power of Instagram. So I thought, well, I'll just start tagging the brand that I'm wearing. And all of a sudden, I ended up on their feed because I was wearing their clothes, and they were making wonderful comments, and that was my door to making a connection with them.
Wow.
And what I didn't know was the best way, if you're on Instagram and somebody, like a company, tags you, is to DM them on Instagram and not send them an email. Do it immediately, because they're all marketing people are under the age of 40, and they're all millennials, and they're instant. That if you are seeing them and they're active, because they have that little green dot on Instagram, and they're on, you start reaching out to them. And that's what I did, and that's how I got my first collaboration with a brand that really is a over 40 audience.
What is it?
Oh, I can say Chico's. That was my very first collaboration was with Chico's, and I did quite many Chico's, and then moved into other companies like J. Jill and Soft Surroundings. So it was just starting, and we're seeing an engagement of these companies looking to us as the women who are going to be their digital marketers.
Yeah, I think it's spectacular.
Yeah.
But look how smart you were, how you made something happen. Now, clearly, you've been a working person for a while. You were a flight attendant,
Right.
which is really lovely. And then you're a very well-known interior designer. In fact, you were on Good Morning America. You were highlighted in Forbes magazine, Atlanta Homes, among just a few, for your
Right.
interior design work. So, you're a professional woman. You know what is attractive and how to attract advertisers. So you knew a little bit about what you were doing. That's pretty clever, how you tagged them first.
Well, I think it's important that if you want to work in the social media platform and make it a business and make money doing it, which I do now, is to treat it like a business. Do not treat it like, oh, here's my grandkids, or, oh, here I am eating at a restaurant. You need to have a strategy. And I have a strategy, just like I do as an interior designer, that I have a vision of where I want to be every year. It's a mission board. It's, you plan. It's a plan for the next year. And so I sit there saying, okay, this year I'm going to really work hard on getting my engagement up, get my numbers up so that companies see, and then have the balls to start talking to them. Because there's some people that you want to work with that maybe not be interested in working with you, or they don't see you. And sometimes you have to just kind of knock on the door and say, hi, I'm Robin LaMonte. I have an audience of 97% women and 3% men, my age, the age group, and I know my demographics. And so I sit there with a media kit and kind of introduce companies to who I am and saying that I am your voice.
I am your voice.
Whatever.
And you're also a mom to 4 children, which is pretty incredible.
Adults, yes.
4 adult children. So, I mean, what I believe by 2020, which is in just a few months, over half of the population in this country, they're over 50, which I kind of couldn't believe, but why not? I mean, all the baby boomers are aging, and they're spending money. They've got the money. I mean, millennials, I know it's quite attractive to advertise to millennials because they are attractive, as are we, but in a different way, really. But we've got the money, and I think advertisers have finally figured this out,
Well, I think that's true, and I don't mean to promote Chico's, but Chico's is bringing Diane Keaton on. I think that's cool. I just think that's great. They're doing that, and they're bringing the 80s models. They're doing some work with the 80 models. So our age group is a viable advertiser, because we are advertising. That's what we do.
I have to give a shout out to our grandparents and our parents, because I know my grandparents, they were immigrants. So, they never had an opportunity to work. They didn't even speak the language. My mom always wanted to work, but quite frankly, she wasn't educated. She wanted to be a lawyer or something, but she didn't have the education at all or the opportunity. And she always made sure that I did. And she said, you do this, because I wasn't able to. And I have to say, through the generations, so much has changed. And just in the past 10 and even 20 years, so much has changed that we can just make our own life and our own business and make our own money. And I actually think social media is fantastic for that. People complain about it, but wow, can you use it as a tool like you have?
Right. And I think it's also for an outreach for women, that all of a sudden I have a conference of 150 women that are over the age of 40 that are influencers.
Yeah.
And they are doing a superior job and working with companies like Kohler and Home Depot, that because of their total reach. And it's not just millennials, is that we're growing. We don't have the $1 million, the million followers. We're not Kim Kardashian. But for being a micro-influencer, I'm super busy, and it's earning income. And it's another way for women that maybe need that extra income, and they have a platform. Maybe they travel. Well, take pictures, write about it, and kind of be like a travel blogger or travel influencer.
That's right.
It doesn't take much to say, this is your passion. What is it in your passion that you love? And you can build on it. Maybe you're a great Italian cook. Start taking pictures, start sharing your recipes, and it's stuff that I just think is so easy. But as a woman, and I'm in my 60s, I don't feel like retiring. And I see that many women over 50 are just in the same boat. We're still thinking we're 40. We're so young in the head that we still say, I've got stuff to do. I've got stuff I want to do.
I will have stuff to do until my last day. Yeah, I'll have stuff to do till my last day. I mean, I just always feel, I always wake up excited. I actually, with this whole social media platform, I wake up very excited and engaged. I mean, podcasting wasn't even around until so many years ago, and we have the opportunity to grow it and get sponsors on our podcast. It's fantastic. So someone wants to start becoming an influencer of a certain age, right? But they don't quite have the numbers yet. How do you suggest they go about doing it?
It's a lot of work. Like I said, you've got to treat it like a business.
Right.
And every day. You have to have really good pictures. Good lighting is important, and we teach that, or we're teaching it to all the newbies that come to our conference. But lighting, captions, style, that you don't get on your Instagram feed saying, today I am wearing blah, 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 blah. That is so boring.
Right.
So I want people to want to connect. So the only way you can do that is have captions that mean something that might reach out to a woman's heart, and start from there. Know what you're doing. Stay true to your vision. Like for me, I have a certain look. I don't sway. I kind of stay in that genre. If a company reaches out to me and says, hey, I'd like to work with you, and I know that that's not me, I stay away, or I say a really nice no, thank you. It's just not a good fit, and it's not something, authentic. And I think that's what's so big about Instagram right now is having an authentic voice.
Now,
and being over 50, you could be a mom that lost a child and start a charity, but your voice is now on Instagram, So
that's
you can do a
actually
lot of
interesting.
things on social media. It is a tool. That's all it is. It's a tool. The millennials are all caught up in how many likes and follows and all that. That I don't think is what our thing is. It's how are we reaching, and are people responding? So if I post something and I have 3 comments, then I know that I did a terrible job.
Really?
Yeah, it's all about, to me, engagement.
We talked,
and that's what companies look at.
We talked about this when we were at lunch. I have lots
Right.
of friends who are always looking at my feed. Oh, Deborah was fantastic. I love the show. I said, say something. They're like, we're too busy.
That's right.
But no, but seriously,
don't eyeballs, because when Instagram gets rid of the likes, it's your comments that they can see.
right.
So if you have 2,000 likes and 5 comments, they're going to say, what are you doing that, that's not getting the engagement? It's what you're saying. Or
I don't know.
And I think, like, for me, I've noticed, and I talked to you about it, is I do a lot of sponsored posts, and I need to stretch them out because I notice that people might get tired of all that advertising. And, we have to, to me, it's a business. So when I see things like a lot of likes on things that aren't sponsored, because women are going, you're not forcing me to buy something,
Right.
or, I'm representing what I'm wearing and not mentioning a company. And I think that's refreshing to a lot of people.
Yeah. It's tough. You're right. It's a real tough balance because when I go on a friend's Instagram, I don't want to know that they're just peddling something all the time. So it is a little bit of a balance. It's a balancing act. It's tough. I don't know. Or maybe you just have a separate Instagram for the products that you enjoy. And then, people follow Robin, which they do. And they want to say, oh, what is she wearing today? What boots?
Well, and I think that's what the brands want to do. Because
Right.
when a brand's paying you to wear an outfit, you want higher engagement.
Right.
Because then they see that, gosh, a lot of women really like the outfit. And for me, leopard prints seems to be just something that all women love right now. So if I wear something with leopard, I get a lot of comments.
Oh,
so
people go crazy.
I know. But when I do something health-wise, which is also very important to me, I don't get the engagement because the people that follow me want to see fashion. But I'm not one-dimensional.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to train them. I'm an interior designer. You're going to see pictures of homes that I do. I write about wellness. This is important for us. And so I do feed it to them. It doesn't get a lot of likes and engagement, but I'm doing it because I feel it's important. I have a platform. I want to talk to women over 50 about health, lifestyle, and fashion because that's all important to us because we think we want to look sharp. We want to look chic. We want to live well. We want to travel well. So I try to do it that way.
Advertising Age said that of people over 50, they control 79% of the disposable income in this country. I found that to be incredible. And Vox, of course, said that now digital ads are bigger than TV and print ads combined. So let's face it.
Yeah, I think Instagram's a huge.
Yeah.
A lot of companies are just now getting on there, but like I said to you before, 90% of the apparel industry is on Instagram. And whether or not they're targeting us or they're targeting the millennials, everybody wants a piece. And I do also believe that the engagement's gone down because Instagram is so overloaded.
I think so too, which is why I'll just go through and like stuff, and I really do like it. I just don't have the time to comment. If I were to comment all day, I wouldn't get anything done.
It's like 3 hours.
Yeah. Well, in fact,
for 100 people, I have 100 people that I love. It would take me 2 hours a day.
It would
to go through their feed. Yeah,
it's difficult. So, all right. So, I want to be an influencer. What do I do? And I have very small following. I suppose what you said initially. Be honest about who you are, right? So that's number one. Own it. Own your warts too. Whatever it is, own it, because I think that's what attracts people. If you've got something and people are like, oh yeah, me too. I have that problem with my hair or whatever. I think it shows that you're real.
Right. And I also think, like, when I posted this summer and I did a 2-piece for 2 different swim companies. It was refreshing to women, because I'm not a skinny mini, to see a woman in her 60s in a 2-piece. It wasn't a bikini. I don't have that bikini body anymore. But I looked nice. I didn't look, like the suit was too small. It was attractive. And I had more compliments from both sides. I didn't get any snarky men, and I didn't get any mean women. Everybody enjoyed seeing a flattering swimsuit on a 62-year-old.
I like that.
And I think...
let me just say, Robin, you made a point that you don't really wear the bikini anymore, but a lot of women, again, when they become a certain age, they just sort of frump out. They don't even bother buying a new suit. Do you know what I mean? They just don't even bother buying the new swimsuit. So
they wear the swim dresses. It's like, oh, sweetie.
Or they wear something that they've had for 15 years, honest to God, and because they're comfortable in it. Get out, buy something that's appropriate and where you feel good in it. I love that you said that, because it's honest to who you are. You're not wearing that string bikini at the moment, or maybe never.
Nope, I don't have those 6-pack abs anymore. They're hiding.
Yeah, they're hiding.
Yeah, that's my vision for next year.
Yeah. Also, didn't you go and take a course to learn how to engage on Instagram? I mean, you really studied this.
I did. It's self-taught. You can go on, you Google it. I did. I study and study and study. And when the algorithms change, I study and study and study. To be successful at anything you do, you need to learn it. And I think that's important, that when women start coming on Instagram and they're posting these really ridiculous photos or they're shot wrong, it's because they didn't do their homework.
Right.
And, I can look back at the photos I've taken 3 years. I can still post them. That they're not ridiculous, but they're just not as professional, because now I have a professional photographer that does that background. She uses the DSLR and shoots in RAW, whereas I only shot my phone.
Right.
And even the iPhone 11, hey, shout out to that, is another fantastic
It's pretty good. It's pretty crisp. I like that. The iPhone 11 is amazing. So yeah, if you don't have someone following you around like you do, I mean, look, you've become very successful. You could afford to do that now. You could always use the iPhone.
That's why I'm doing it. I didn't. I shot for 3 years on my phone.
Right. Wow. It's pretty incredible, Robin. So the number one thing someone should do right now is just what? Own who you are. But anybody could do this, right? Let's say you're a gardener, or you're someone who enjoys planting.
Right.
You go.
Let's say you travel. Yeah.
You can
Take
do
pictures.
Whatever some of those companies are, Home Depot or Ace Hardware or whatever. I mean, there's so many different companies. It doesn't matter what you do, right? You can always find a company that would support you.
Like the women who do table decor. Like when I do a table decor, and I just did a fall one, I tagged Michael's, Home Goods, Pottery Barn, because that's where I bought them.
Yeah.
I want them to see, so I'm doing free advertising. So yes, you start out doing a lot of free advertising, and that's okay, because you're saying to people, this is what I used. So you become an authoritative voice. So when Robin, the interior designer, is shooting and doing interiors, it's one thing because I'm working for clients. But when I'm doing tablescapes, I'm talking to the women that, like the DIY.
Right.
Here's a tablescape for fall. So you can start doing that, but make sure that you have a voice that's directed towards your audience. You have to know who your audience is.
Hey, guess what? Today I actually got an email, and it was legit. Beats, the headphones. And I thought,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
wow, now that would be cool to endorse. I'm actually going to be talking to them later today. And I'm like,
You
oh,
should. You
that is,
should,
are you
because
kidding?
that is,
Absolutely.
yeah. And I think that's just it. And I think it's really cool that they're coming out of the woodwork. And a lot of companies, when I sent them my sponsor deck, all of a sudden I'm noticing the influencers that are speaking are getting jobs, or getting, working collaborations. I shouldn't call them jobs, collaborations. And I thought, isn't it funny, by letting companies know, hey, these are the women that are speaking at an event that they never knew of, now these women are, doing collaborations with companies. And I think that's cool, because a lot of companies don't know who we are. And a lot of them are young marketing. It's really the young ones that they don't, they'll look at the hashtag. And then this is another thing. I have at least 30 hashtags, change them up on every post. You can keep like 5 the same all the time, but Instagram will kick you off because you look spammy. Like, I could teach a whole course on Instagram.
You should be. But you should be doing that, honestly. Whether it's for free or not, you should, because you did it. You own it now. In fact, are you going to be doing that perhaps at the at the conference? At the
conference, we're teaching a lot. We're teaching content. We're teaching photography. With the iPhone, we're actually having an interior designer speaking, who is an iPhone. She used to work as a professional photographer for Calvin Klein. And now she does interior shots all on her iPhone. She doesn't even use the big girl camera.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. So
it's going to be fun.
Oh, it's going to be great. I look forward to it very much. I mean, I will enjoy talking about journalism, and just there's so much for people to learn at the conference. But I say, absolutely, you should be teaching how to, because you nailed it, Robin. You're very successful. You did it. So.
And I think it's a lot of women. I mean, it's just. I believe in giving. I believe in mentoring another woman. There are women who won't, and that's their gig. That's their, they want to keep all their knowledge to themselves because that's competitive. I think we are better as one voice. So the only way anybody's going to do well is that we help each other.
Yeah,
and
there's
that's
no doubt.
what the conference is all about.
Beautiful. And that's going to be in March. And you'll be able to read all about it on Robin's page.
Us.
Yeah, please follow Robin, Robin LaMonte, and also Influencer Over 50. And just reach out to her. DM Robin. I mean, let her know that
That's
you saw
right.
her show.
It's kind of like, I think it's fun. I think there's some really beautiful women that are just starting.
Yeah,
and they're going to skyrocket. Because when I see their content, I'm like, you only got 2,000 followers? Oh, my gosh. You're going to be working with brands, because a lot of times brands don't care what your numbers are.
It's true.
It's your content.
It's your content, because you can always grow the numbers with good content. Anyway, Robin, I've got to let you go, but I so enjoyed talking to you, and I'll have you back on. Now you're a friend of the show, and we always have
our
guests
come out, and maybe we could do something live in Atlanta. But I think this is a conversation that the over 50 women. I know it's hard in Hollywood because there's that glass ceiling saying you're one and done after a certain age, but I don't see it.
No, wait, hang
influencer.
on. Final note, not really. Look at Jen Aniston. Look at Reese Witherspoon, Nicole Kidman.
Look at Diane Keaton.
Look at Diane Keaton. I mean, look at everyone. There's some, I just get age and toss it out the window. Who cares the year you're born?
That's right.
Do the work you love, enjoy it, because
right.
soon it's all going to be over anyway. So whether you're 40, 50, 18, or 88, get out there, enjoy your life, and try Instagram because I think it does work. Robin, again, thank you so much for being here. And Robin LaMonte is on all social platforms, but particularly on Instagram. And please reach out to her. And thank you. We'll be having her on the show again before our conference in March. And she can give you some great tips. So thanks, everybody, for being here today on Deborah Kobylt Live. And we will see you next time, everybody, here in Los Angeles and Ventura County. Please be safe. Thanks. Bye-bye.
That's right. Be safe.
Bye-bye.